all devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udire Nashtaprayasho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 2nd. The Lord in the Heart. Shloka number 25 and 26. Tat Vishwanabhim tu Ativartya Vishnoho
तद्विश्वनाभिं तु अतिवर्त्य विष्णोः
Aniyasa Virajena Atmana Ekah
अनीयसा विरजेनात्मन एकः
Namaskrutam Brahmavidam Upaiti
नमस्कृतं ब्रह्मविदम् उपेति
Kalpa Ayusha Yat Vibhudaramante
कल्पायुषः यद्विबुधा रमन्ते
Ato Anantasya Mukha Analena
अथ अनन्तस्य मुखानलेन
Dandhayamanam Sah Niriksha Vishwam
गन्धयमानं सनिरीक्ष्य विश्वम्
Niryati Siddheshwar Ishtadhishnam
निर्याति सिद्धेश्वरयुष्टधिष्ण्यम्
Yat Dvaiparadya Tat Uparameshtam
यद्वैपरार्ध्यं तदुपारमेष्ट्यम्
Tat Vishwanabhim tu Ativarna Vishnoho
तद्विश्वनाभिं तु अतिवर्त्य विष्णोः
Aniyasa Virajena Atmana Ekah
रणीयसविरजेन आत्मनेकः
Namaskrutam Brahmavidam Upaiti
नमस्कृतं ब्रह्मविदामुपैति
Kalpa Ayusha Yat Vibhudaramante
कल्पायुष यद्विबुधा रमन्ते
Ato Anantasya Mukha Analena
अथ अनन्तस्य मुखानलेन
Dandhayamanam Sah Niriksha Vishwam
दण्डयमानं सनिरीक्ष्य विश्वम्
Niryati Siddheshwara Yushtadhishnam
निर्याति सिद्धेश्वरयुष्टधिष्ण्यम्
Yadvai Paradhyam Tad Uparameshtam
यद्वैपरार्ध्यं तत् उपारमेष्ट्यम्
Tat Vishwanabhim tu Ativarta Vishno Aniyasa Virajena Atmana Eka Namaskrutam Brahmavidam Upaiti Kalpa Ayusha Yat Vibhudaramante Atho Anantasya Mukha Analena Dandayamanam Saniriksha Vishwam Niryadi Siddheshara Yushtadhishyam Yadvai Parardhyam Tat Uparameshtam. Hare Krishna.
तद्विश्वनाभिं तु अतिवर्त्य विष्णु अनीयसा विरजेन आत्मनेकः नमस्कृतं ब्रह्मविदम् उपैति कल्पायुष यद्विबुधा रमन्ते अथ अनन्तस्य मुखानलेन दण्डयमानं सनिरीक्ष्य विश्वं निर्याति सिद्धेश्वरं युष्टधिष्ण्यं यद्वैपारार्ध्यं तत् उपारमेष्ट्यम्.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This Śiśumāra is the pivot for the turning of the complete universe, and it is called the navel of Vishnu, Garbhodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. The yogi alone goes beyond this circle of Śiśumāra and attains the planet Maharloka, where purified saints like Bhṛgu enjoy a duration of life of
4.3
4
billion,
30 crore
4.3
solar.
billion, 4.3 billion.
This also right.
4.3 billion
Solar
solar
years.
years.
This planet is worshipable even for the saints who are transcendentally situated. At the time of final devastation of the complete universe, the end of the duration of Brahma's life, a flame of fire emanates from the mouth of Ananta, from the bottom of the universe. The yogi sees all the planets of the universe burning to ashes, and thus he lives for Satyaloka by aeroplanes used by the great purified souls. This duration of life in Satyaloka is calculated to be uh, uh,
15.4 trillion years.
one.
15.48 trillion years.
ठीक है. And otherwise, one Shanku, 54 Kharab, 8 Arab.
Hari bol. Hare
It is indicated here in that the residents of Maharloka, where the purified living entities or demigods possess a duration of life calculated to be uh, 4.3
billion.
crore
Billion.
billion solar years, have airships by which they reach the Satyaloka, the topmost planet of the universe. In other words, the Srimad Bhagavatam gives us many clues about the other planets far, far away from us, which modern planes and spacecraft cannot reach, even by imaginary speed. The statement of Srimad Bhagavatam are accepted by great acharyas like Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, and Vallabhacharya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless Vedic authority, and as such, no layman can ignore the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam when it is spoken by the self-realized soul, Srila Shukdev Goswami, who follows in the footsteps of his great father, Srila Vyasdev, the compiler of all Vedic literatures. In the creation of the Lord, there are many wonderful things we can see with our own eyes every day and night, but we are unable to reach them. Equipped by modern materialistic science, we should not therefore depend on the fragmentary authority of materialistic science for knowing things beyond the range of scientific purview. For a common man, both modern science and Vedic wisdom are simply to be accepted because none of the statements either of modern science or of Vedic literature can be verified by him. The alternative for a common man is to believe either of them or both of them. The Vedic way of understanding, however, is more authentic because it has been accepted by the acharyas, who are not only faithful and learned men but are also liberated souls without any of the flaws of conditioned souls. The modern scientists, however, are conditioned souls liable to so many errors and mistakes. Therefore, the safe side is to accept the authentic version of Vedic literature, like Srimad Bhagavatam, which is accepted unanimously by the great acharyas. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारि वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart. We try to understand Shloka number 25 and 26. In the Shloka number 25, describing about the Śiśumāra, which is the pivot of the turning of the complete universe, and it is called the navel of the Garbhodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. And other and they told about that this circle of Śiśumāra only yogis can attain. They only uh, able to cross, and they reach where purified saints like Bhṛgu Muni live, and there is the life in there is 4.3 billion. And in 26 shloka, they're describing about the residents of the Maharloka, where purified living entities or demigods possessing life calculated before we read. And here they also describing about the uh, planets where yogis sees all planets, planets of the universe burning to ashes, and the sea leaves for the Satyaloka, where airplane by the great purified souls, and there is the um, lifetime in Satyaloka is calculated like 1 Shanku 54 Kharab 8 Arab. And Prabhuji will tell us is nicely in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Vancha
Krishna.
kalpatarubhyecha kripa sindhu bheva cha patitanam pavane Vaishnavabhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So today is the auspicious day of Snan Yatra, wherein Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maiya have come out on the Snan Vedi, and they have had this wonderful bathing with the 108 golden pots, in which all the auspicious rivers waters was there, purified by Jadi Booty, Tulsi, and all the things. And then they had this beautiful bathing ritual. And after the bathing ritual, they have given us the auspicious darshan today of Gajavesha or the Hatti Vesha. So today on that auspicious day, what we are discussing is the realm beyond, the journey beyond. So yesterday we saw how the yogi, he would get purified of whatever is the remaining contamination while passing through Vaishvanara. And then he would reach the circle of Śiśumāra. Now this Śiśumāra, this is a pivot. So we have studied in geography that the earth rotates. We have studied in geography that the earth circumambulates as well to the sun. And not only that, all the planets. So this whole universe, it's again not static. Within the solar systems also, so many planets which solar systems which form the Milky Way, even the solar systems are moving. And even Milky Way is not stagnant, it is moving. And even the universe that we are a part of, even that is moving. And so many, all the universes are moving, and they are moving with the Śiśumāra as the pivot, and it is at the navel of Garbhodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. So if you all remember how the we have seen the Purush Avtaras. So Garbhodakaśāyī Viṣṇu is one of the Purush Avtaras, wherein he comes and he is sleeping. And there from the navel, this part is the Śiśumāra circle on which the whole universe is rotating. Now the yogi is purified. So he is going even beyond the Śiśumāra circle. And what do we find beyond the Śiśumāra circle? There we find the Maharloka. So all the good saints like Bhṛgu Maharaj, they stay there 4.3 billion years, one kalpa, the day of Brahmaji. And this planetary system of Maharloka is worshipable for all the saints who are transcendentally situated. And then we see that when the Brahma's life ends, that time this whole universe is getting destroyed. So how does it get destroyed? Now this whole universe, it is on the head of the Ananta Shesh. So Ananta Shesh is there, and on each head there are these universes. So from the mouth of the Ananta Shesh, the fire comes. And in that fire, everything gets engulfed. So the yogi is able to see all these things. So he sees that everything is getting destroyed here. Let me go further. And there, then he goes to Satyaloka. Satyaloka, also the Brahmaloka, where the life is 15.48 trillion years. So this is a very wonderful compilation. So what Prabhupada is trying to make us understand here is the superiority of Vedic wisdom over modern science. Modern science is limited, it is speculative. We are unable to access or comprehend distant planetary systems which are described in the Vedic texts. And Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are studying, it is offering the authentic knowledge. It is accepted by spotless acharyas like Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, Vallabhacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in fact, it is also known as a spotless Purana, that is Amala Purana. So each and everything, whatever is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam is truth, because it is all related to our Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And that is why we say, na, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We should serve that Bhagavatam every day. And how do we serve? By Shravanam, Kirtanam. So Vyasdev, who's compiler of all Vedic scriptures, he himself is considered to be as an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Because he is free from human flaws, unlike modern scientists. So we have seen the 4 defects of humans. We like to cheat. We have a tendency to cheat, to lie. We have incomplete senses, and we don't have complete memory. So modern scientists, they have all these flaws, but Vyasdev never had any of these flaws. In fact, he was Trikaldarshi. He could see what has happened in the past, what is happening currently, and what is going to happen even in future. And it is he who has compiled the Vedic scriptures. And that is why the Vedic wisdom is always going to be superior over whatever modern scientific advancements we make. And that is where the question arises. Is it faith? Is it skepticism? Now, common men cannot verify either science or Shastra. So, in such a situation, it is always safer to choose the Vedic path because it is time tested and backed by liberated souls. Example, when COVID-19 was creating havoc at its peak, or even now, what we are seeing currently, there were questions on what should be the line of treatment for treating it. So multiple modalities were followed. At least something will be useful, something will help. But what does the Veda used to say? The Vedas used to give us the actual knowledge on how we should avoid overcrowding, how we should not shake hands but say namaste, how we should not eat after certain hours, how we should maintain cleanliness and hygiene. So, Vedic path is always safer. Prabhupada ji humorously refuted unverifiable scientific claims. Example, particles existing for 1 by 30,000 seconds. So this is what they were saying. So Prabhupada ji said, no, it is not right. In fact, even the size of the soul is given in our scriptures, which we cannot even touch. The tip of the hair broken into 1/10,000th part. So what we need to understand is bhakti and material detachments. Because true identity and detachment is an important aspect which we have to work upon. Once we know the Tattvavid, once we become the Tattvavid, we know the absolute truth, we are able to realize that we are just parts and parcels of Krishna. And we are made for devotional service, not for material gratification or controlling of the material nature. The moment we understand that this is our constitutional position of Nityera Krishna Das, we automatically become undisturbed by material reactions and we accept everything as Krishna's mercy. So, the moment we accept Krishna's mercy, the moment we understand true identity, automatically detachment comes, and vice versa. That is why we have to be careful, especially regarding sense gratification. When it is compared vis-a-vis devotion, in Bhagavad Gita, if you all remember the third chapter, shloka number 27 and 28, Krishna very clearly explains to us Prakruteh kriyamanaani gunah karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. And then we also understand Tattva Vitta Mahabaho Guna Karma Vibhagayo Guna Guneshu Vartantah Iti Matvana Sajjate. One who is knowledge of the absolute truth does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. So one who knows the absolute truth in three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, is called Tattvavid. Because he knows his own factual position in relationship with Krishna. And we understand that the bewildered soul, he thinks that he is the doer, and that is why he is influenced by material nature. So we need to understand the distinction between fruitive work and devotional service. And the moment we know this distinction, we are not attached to sense enjoyment. So the question comes, if someone does not know, how do we will deal with the ignorant? Now, there we have two solutions. One is approach to the materialists. Now, there also, in the immediate next shloka of Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, Krishna says, Prakrute guna sammudhaha sajjante guna karmasu tan krutsa vido manda akrutsna vinna vichalayat, which means bewildered by the modes of material nature, they do not fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior to the performer's lack of knowledge. So they may be lacking the knowledge. They will not appreciate the activities in Krishna consciousness. But we should not disturb them and waste a valuable time. But the devotees are always more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of Lord. So they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely unnecessary. And they want everything to be done which is necessary for the human being. Example, I know a Mataji, whoever is coming for giving delivery, because nowadays everything is ordered online, she simply tells them Krishna Katha. She either gives them some small book or she gives them Bhagavad Gita. So those immersed in material consciousness, that is false ego, designations, ideally should not be disturbed. But spiritual aspirants are advised to focus on their own progress without agitating such people. And that is where the role of devotees and preachers comes into picture. Because despite instructions to not disturb, pure devotees take risks. out of compassion. They try to reawaken others' relationship, even amidst opposition. So what are the tests by the Lord? So Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen in the first canto, 7th chapter, 48th verse. Lord Krishna tests his pure devotees to magnify their sense of duty. And we have the examples of Arjuna, Prahlad, the gopis. The tests are often unpleasant, they are challenging. But the devotee's response ensures success. So these two shlokas, they are very, very important for us. They make us understand that the world is full of temporary changing situations. There are insults, there are conflicts, there are racial tensions, societal problems. They all stem from forgetting Krishna and they are being driven by material desires. The moment we engage in Krishna's service, it will help revive our original pure consciousness, that is love and not lust. So these shlokas which make us understand about the Maharloka and the Satyaloka, about the navel of Garbhodakaśāyī Viṣṇu, which is the Śiśumāra kshetra, where everything, the whole universe is rotating. So when we are looking at this Swarupa, we must reflect on the temporary nature of the material world. We must increase the faith in Shastra and the Acharyas. We must practice devotional service as the natural function of the soul. We must remain undisturbed by material reactions, viewing them as Krishna's mercy. And we should share Krishna consciousness kindly, wisely, especially with those unaware of their true identity. And it is only in such a situation that we'll be able to help everyone to go back home, back to Godhead. So let us chant and be happy. Thank you very much.